All right. Good morning. Today is Thursday, September the 14th. Right now we are going to talk about your novel project presentation. Everyone has received your novel. If you borrowed or if you are using one of my novels, I gave you a novel, I signed it out to you. When you are finished with your reading your novel and your novel project, you have to turn that novel back into me. If you lose my novel that I have loaned to you, you will have to pay for what the book cost. Okay? So if you do not return my book back to me in good condition, then you will have to pay for the book that you have lost or damaged. All right, now I'm assuming that all of these books that are over here on this table have been left in here. Okay, so we're not off to the best start. All right, just hold on. This book should come to class with you every single day, and it should go home with you every single day, and come back with you every single day. Okay, just like your purple data folder and just like your Grammar Plus workbook. You need to have this on you all of the time. Now, to access your project, I need for everyone to go into your Schoology, and you're going to click on your English class. It doesn't matter what period it is. It's all set up the same. Okay? And then I want you to scroll down to where it says Novel Project 1. Novel Project 1. All right? You're going to click on that, and then you're going to open 2324 Novel Project 1. You should click on My Documents. All right? Now, for the most part, this is fairly self-explanatory. Each slide is very descriptive in what it is asking you to do. All right, on this slide right here, it says, no, you clicked on the wrong one. All right, it's on slide 1, okay? Book review presentation. You have to type in the name of the book below, and then delete this text box, okay? All right, The Giver, Alabama Moon, The Outsiders, Matilda. You're going to put your first and your last name. You're going to put your class period, and you're going to put your date. Now, you can do some of it as we're going through it. That way you make sure you know what you're doing, and like if you need to add a note or something on your slide, if you're unsure of something, now would be the time to do that. Okay? What the title of a book must be in what? Capitalized, and what else? Italics. All right, italics. Now, you have to change the background of this slide. Okay? You have to add some effects to this slide. It cannot look like what it looks like right now. You cannot just put in the correct information and receive full credit. You have to create something different. Everybody understand? All right. Slide 2. This is the directions, or these are the directions. All right. Choose a book from the following list: The Giver, Alabama Moon, The Outsiders, and Matilda. Read the book and complete the following presentation. You will read 3 novels this year. You will complete 3 novel presentations. The presentation will count as 2 major grades. The first project must be completed by November. The second project must be completed by February. The final project must be completed by May. You will present your presentation to the class each time. You must read the book independently on your own time. Now, if we finish something in class early, okay, then I will tell you to get your novel out. you're going to have due dates for each slide. Okay, that way you're not just working on this whole thing right here and then come November and nobody has their slides done. I've learned that lesson the hard way. So you will have certain slides due at specific times throughout the next few weeks. Okay. There may be time in class to read and work on your presentation if time permits during your class time, but I do not want you to depend on getting to work on this in class. I need for you to make sure that you are putting some effort into this at home, all right, or in your spare time. So if Coach Kennedy gives you some spare time in his class, instead of using that time to play or goof off, what should you probably do? Work on this, okay? All right. All right, you must edit the background, add animation, add special effects, and put effort into making each project unique. Just hold on. All right. Make sure to write in complete sentences. Highlight this on your slide. Everybody be on the slide. I want everybody on the direction slide right now. All right, everybody is on the direction slide. Right now, I want everybody where I'm at. I don't want you working necessarily unless we're on that slide. Now, right here where it says, make sure to write incomplete sentences, I want you to highlight that. Number 7, make sure to write incomplete sentences. Everything you write must be in a complete sentence. You must restate the question in all of your responses. Now, what does a sentence begin with? A capital letter, and it ends with punctuation. In order for a sentence to be complete, it must have a subject and a verb and express a complete thought. All right? I will be deducting major points for run-on sentences and fragments. Okay? You will have a rubric. All right? Make sure to punctuate your sentences. Make sure. I'll give it to y'all. What is a rubric? A rubric is a set of a plan, like a plan that tells you how something's going to be graded. Like it'll tell you how many points each slide is worth. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you each slide is worth probably 5 to 10 points, I think. All right. Okay. All right. Make sure to correct sentence fragments and or run-on sentences. Make sure to use capital letters at the beginning of all sentences and where needed otherwise. Okay? Proper nouns should be what? Proper nouns should be what? Capitalized. All right, now go back up here, right here where it says number 6. You must edit the background, add animation. Okay, you cannot make it to where we cannot read it. All right, it has to be where we can see what you have typed. Do not get too carried away. Does everybody understand that statement? Okay. Do not plagiarize. You may use the internet to conduct your research. You may not copy and paste information into your presentation. You must use your own words to answer the questions. Be sure to follow the directions on each slide. Highlight that. Be sure to follow the directions on each slide. Okay. No, in a minute. All right, go to the next slide. All right, about the book. When you type in the title, you better make sure that you have capitalized the letters within the title that needs to be capitalized. You should also make sure that you put this in italics. So if you need to type in out here by the side italics, you better type in italics. Yes. Slanted I. Okay? Author. You need to put the author's first and last name. The author's first and last name should be what? Capitalized. Now, you are going to use the inside of your book, okay, to fill in this information. Published in. What city was your book published in? Copyright date. When was the book copyrighted? All right, it'll have like a C with a circle and a year. Who is the publisher of this book? All right, who is the publisher of this book? Now, we're going to go more in depth over this, but if you have The Outsiders, and you have this particular book right here, okay, if you look on the inside, it says Penguin Books, an imprint of Penguin Random House, LLC, New York. Now, first published in the United States by the Viking Press. Published by Puffin Books as an imprint of Penguin Random House in 1997. It was also published in 2019. Now, the copyright date is 1967 by S.E. Hinton. So the copyright date is going to be the first date that the book came out. All right? Every book has a page like this. All right? Every book has a page that tells you when your book was written, who wrote your book, who published your book, who printed your book. Okay? What city the book was published in, what city the book was copyrighted in. All of that good information. Now, it says finished book citation. Okay? We're going to do some work and learn how to cite a book. So right now, I don't expect you to have this, okay, until after I teach you how to cite a book. But you have to have all of the information above in order to be able to cite a book, okay? All right, you have to insert a picture of the book here. So you can like just search the internet, find a copy of what the book looks like, and insert it. All right, Zacchaeus. No, not yet. All right, about the author. All right, name. State the author's name. Date of birth. Must be in a complete sentence, okay? The author was, or you could put the author's name, was born on whatever, okay? The author or whoever your author is, S.E. Hinton, S.E. Hinton's hometown was or is, okay? Family history must be in complete sentences. Interesting fact, interesting fact, interesting fact. Awards received. Okay, insert a picture of the author here. Language and grammar. Okay, it says find 2 common nouns used in the book. List what page number you find them on. One person, one place, one thing. So one person, one place, one thing. Word found, page number. All right, you're going to type the sentence out here, okay? List 2 proper nouns. Same theory. Word found, page number. All right, this says find 3 what? Possessive nouns. Okay, what does a possessive noun do? Shows ownership. Okay, you're going to find 3 possessive nouns. You're going to tell me what the noun is, like just the noun here. You're going to tell me what page number you found it on. Okay? In the next column, I'm going to have to pull it up on my computer so I can see it a little bit better. All right, the next problem is going to be to find a sentence in your book that contains an action, verb, and direct object. So this means that we're looking for a transitive verb. Okay? Now, you've got to have 5 of these sentences. You've got to also fill in the blank. Well, I'm sorry. This is find a sentence in your book that contains an action verb and a direct object. You only have to have one sentence here. All right. What two questions do you ask after the verb to determine if you have a direct object? You're going to need to answer that. All right. The next, it says find a sentence in your book that contains a verb written in the active voice. The next thing says find a sentence in your book that contains a verb written in the passive voice. Now, we just spent almost 2 weeks on active and passive. Okay, you have notes in your data folder. You can go back to IXL and look, and if you don't remember what an active and passive voice is, or verb is. But, like I have told you, once you learn something in here, it's not to forget it, but to store it. Okay, it's going to come back up over and over and over again. Language and grammar, the next slide. All right. You're going to do some of the same stuff on this slide. It has to be different sentences, okay? The bottom is different. It says find 5 sentences in your book that contains a be verb. What are the 5 most common be verbs? What are the 5 most common be verbs? You should be able to spout these off very quickly. We talked about it with active and passive. We've been talking about it with DGP. There are 5. Am, is, are, was, were. Be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were. Okay? Alright, go to the next slide. Vocabulary, context clues, connotations, and denotations. All you have to do in this slide is define the word. Now, you have the definitions in your data folder. Okay, you have a handout called Academic Vocabulary. I expect you to find your definitions using your academic vocabulary list within your data folder. Now, do these definitions have to be in a complete sentence? Yes. Okay, so context clues are, connotation means, denotation means, a synonym is, an antonym is, okay, something of that nature. You have to write incomplete sentences. Where will you get the definitions for this? In your data folder. If I were you, I would make a note on this slide right now of where to get this information. I would make a note right now of where to get the information on this slide. All right, the next slide is going to be the exposition. Okay, the exposition is the first step in the plot diagram. The exposition tells when and where the story takes place. When does the story take place? Be descriptive. Year, seasons, time of day. Explain the setting, when of the story in a complete sentence. You must include more than one element. Where does the story take place? Be descriptive. All right, county, city, state, town, location, parking lot, field, woods, forest. Explain the setting the where of the story in a complete sentence. You must include more than one element. All right, and then I want you to do your best to find a picture of what this setting most resembles, okay, and insert it here. Rising action. I see some of you are not on the screen that I am on. So you're not listening to the directions that I'm giving. All right? You're not working on the presentation right now. Okay? You're listening and going through the slides and going over the directions. All right, rising action. It says term and definition. Define the term in a complete sentence in the space provided. You're going to list key events leading up to the climax in this box or in those boxes. All right, the first key event must be in a complete sentence. Please type the key event in the space provided to the right. Okay? So list some things that happen before we get to the climax. All right, the climax of the story, I've already defined this here for you. Okay? You don't have to look up the word climax. However, you do have to thoroughly explain what the word or what the climax of your story is. Okay? Falling action. You're going to define falling action. These are all the events that happen after the climax, but before the resolution. Okay, you have to have 3 events that you're going to discuss during the falling action. Resolution. What does resolution mean? The outcome, the end of the story. Okay, you have to define the term resolution in a complete sentence right here. What is the resolution to the story you read? Please be descriptive and type in complete sentences in the space provided to the right. You must have a minimum of how many sentences? 3. Highlight that. All right, highlight that because you have to tell me how the story ends. You thoroughly have to tell me how the story ends. All right, this is the definition. This is the answer. Okay? Plot diagram. All you're going to do is go to Google, all right, and you're going to search for a completed plot diagram of the story that you are, or of the novel that you are reading. Okay, so it says find a picture of the plot diagram on Google and insert the picture in the box provided to the right. Please edit the background of the slide and make the picture viewable. You may delete this text box of directions once the picture has been inserted. Make sure your plot diagram has the elements described. Okay? Characters. All right, now you're going to get the definitions for these words in your data folder in the academic vocabulary section. You have to actually use your novel, okay, to identify the characters in the book that are the protagonist, antagonist, a dynamic character, a static character, a round character, and a flat character. Then you're going to go to Google and you're going to find a picture of that character and you're going to insert it in this box right here. Now, please make sure that you are using the book and not a movie. Okay, I will not give you credit for something that happens in the movie. You have to have the elements of the book. Conflict. You're going to get the definitions from your data folder. Okay, define internal conflict in the space provided to the right. The definition must be written in a complete sentence. Then you have to define an internal conflict. Now, internal means something that is happening where? Inside. External is something that can be viewed. It's something that the readers are able to visually see. Okay? All right, next slide, figurative language. You're going to get the definitions from your data folder. You've got to find an example of the type of figurative language used in the story. Point of view. All right. Please list pronouns that would be used with each point of view in this column. All right. Definitions are going to go here. What person point of view is this story told? You're going to answer it in a complete sentence here. Who is the narrator of this story? The narrator of The Outsiders is Ponyboy Curtis. All right, theme, moral, and motive. Okay, you're going to define it here, and you're going to give me an example in this column. Thoughts and opinions. All right, here's where you're going to complete the thoughts and opinions section. All right, what is your overall impression of the book? Okay, why did you like it? Why did you not like it? You must provide an in-depth explanation of your response. You must use complete sentences. Each response should be a minimum of 5 sentences. Summary. Write a thorough summary of the book below. Your summary should be a minimum of 7 sentences. You may not copy and paste your summary. It must be original. All right, that is the end, and I will post the rubric. I will go over the rubric tomorrow.